Barack Obama destroys Trump with secret recording. Fox News melts down. The broadcast begins like any other evening, Fox News anchors locked in their routine rhythm of deflection and spin. The lights burn hot, cameras trained, voices sharpened. But then, the teleprompter halts, producers panic in the control room as an audio feed overrides the program. A voice cuts through the noise, calm, steady, unmistakable. Barack Obama. The first words are enough to freeze the panel mid-sentence. Donald knew. He lied to you. He lied to all of us. The timing is ruthless. 34 seconds in, the studio collapses into visible shock. One anchor's mouth falls open, another scrambles with her notes, while a third stammers, What is this? The chyron at the bottom of the screen glitches, replaced with a single phrase, secret recording, source unknown. Gasps ripple across the newsroom. A cameraman mutters, "Is this live?" An aide bursts in from off-screen, whispering urgently into the host's ear. She flinches, eyes darting to the camera, but it is too late. The audience has already heard the unmistakable cadence of Obama's voice. Deliberate, piercing, impossible to dismiss. Phones vibrate across Washington. Journalists in the Capitol hearing room look down at their screens, faces tightening as they realize what's breaking. Staffers scramble down marble hallways, whispering to each other, It's real! It's happening now! In living rooms across the nation, viewers lean forward. Clips are ripped directly from the live feed, uncut, unedited, and hurled onto Twitter, TikTok, and YouTube. The phrase Obama recording explodes into trending status within minutes. Back on set, Fox News anchors try to regain control. One snaps, "We cannot confirm the authenticity." But the desperation in his voice betrays him. Another tries to pivot, insisting, "Ladies and gentlemen, let's remain calm," only to be drowned out by the continuing tape, Obama's words slicing through their attempts to contain it. The tension in the studio is no longer just professional, it is survival. Sweat beads form, eyes dart between teleprompters and producers waving frantically through the glass. But the broadcast is already spiraling beyond their command. By the 34th second, the narrative has escaped. It belongs to the public now. And the chamber, the studio, the Capitol, the nation itself has ignited. The audio rolls on, unrelenting. Barack Obama's voice is steady, low, deliberate. Not a whisper caught in passing, but a measured statement recorded behind closed doors. Donald Trump was briefed. He saw the documents, he knew the risks, and still he chose his own gain over America's security. The words drop like lead. In the Fox studio, the anchors are frozen, deer caught in the glare of oncoming headlights. The control room erupts in chaos, producers shouting, technicians slamming buttons, desperate to cut the feed. But the recording continues, unstoppable, as if immune to their grasp. On Twitter, a clipped 16-second segment is already looping. Obama, he chose his own gain over America's security. Millions watch it raw, without commentary. Within 10 minutes, hashtag surge. Jar Obama tape. Jai Trump exposed. Jai Fox meltdown. In the Capitol Press Gallery, journalists lean across desks, firing texts. Get verification now. Editors bark orders over phone lines demanding source checks. CNN breaks in with a red banner. Secret Obama. Recording shakes Washington. The content deepens. Obama's voice sharpens. We warned him. We told him what would happen, and he laughed. He said, and I quote, "They'll never find out." That phrase detonates. They'll never find out. Reporters repeat it like a mantra. One NBC correspondent whispers to another, "That's going to be the headline in every paper by morning." At Fox, one anchor slams his hand on the desk. "This is a political hit job. This is doctored." But his voice trembles. His co-host interrupts, blurting, "Why is it synced to his real cadence? It sounds too real." The studio descends into argument, live on air. No script, no coordination, just raw panic spilling out before millions. Meanwhile, on the ground, the public reacts. In diners across Ohio, in union halls in Michigan, in crowded bars in Pennsylvania, televisions replay the recording. Patrons hush, jaws tightening. A veteran mutters, "If that's true, he sold us out." YouTube erupts with uploads of the raw feed, uncut, watermarked by random users before Fox can wipe it. Radio stations in Texas play the tape on loop, callers demanding answers. One woman chokes up live on air. "I voted for him. I trusted him. Did he really laugh about us?" Obama's voice continues, finalizing the strike. History won't forgive him. But the people can still choose to. And with that, the clip ends. Silence follows, not just in the studio, not just in Congress, but across the country. A silence heavier than any sound. Then, like a dam bursting, the world begins to scream. The silence doesn't last. Within the hour, Trump storms onto Truth Social, his words written in all caps, fury dripping from every letter. "Total hoax, fake recording, Obama and the deep state fabricated this garbage to stop me. I will never back down." Cable news splits into factions. CNN runs a countdown clock. Awaiting Trump response live. MSNBC plays the tape on loop with analysts dissecting every pause, every syllable. Fox, wounded and cornered, pivots hard. A host sneers into the camera. "This is a disgraceful smear campaign, ladies and gentlemen. The Democrats are terrified of President Trump because he's winning." But even as he speaks, his eyes flick nervously to the monitor replaying Obama's words. By midnight, Trump himself appears. He steps onto a stage hastily assembled in Bedminster, American flags lined up like soldiers, MAGA hats flashing in the crowd. His face is flushed, jaw clenched, the fury in his body language unmistakable. "Did you hear that tape?" he bellows, voice hoarse but commanding. "It's fake! Fake! They used computers, artificial intelligence, total lies! Barack Hussein Obama should be ashamed of himself!" The crowd roars, but not with its usual unity. Some cheer wildly, fists pumping. Others glance at each other, unsettled, whispering, "But it sounded real!" Reporters swarm the scene, cameras rolling as Trump jabs his finger at the press pen. "The fake news is in on it. They're all part of this. They're trying to silence you, not me, because I stand in the way." Back on television, his allies move fast. Senator Lindsey Graham takes to Fox, demanding an investigation. "Who leaked this so-called tape? Who doctored it? This is an assault on our democracy." Rudy Giuliani, wild-eyed, insists it's the work of foreign operatives. But the more they shout, the more the recording spreads. Clips circulate untouched, raw, and devastating. TikTok teens remix Obama's line, "They'll never find out," into viral soundtracks. Twitter explodes with side-by-side comparisons. Obama's cadence from past speeches versus the tape. The match is uncanny. The backlash sharpens. On Capitol Hill, Democrats convene impromptu pressers. One congressman slams his fist on the podium. "If the former president was warned and ignored it, this is not just politics, this is betrayal." Trump's rage deepens. Behind closed doors, he screams at advisors, demanding loyalty oaths. "No one defects. No one believes it," he roars, pounding the table, but even his inner circle feels the pressure. A staffer mutters under his breath, "It's spiraling too fast." The counterattack is fierce, but it carries the stench of desperation. Every denial, every insult, every threat amplifies the tape instead of burying it. By dawn, one headline dominates every screen. Trump lashes out, but Obama recording won't go away. The sun barely crests Washington, but the Capitol is already boiling. In a windowless room beneath the RNC headquarters, Republican strategists gather around a polished mahogany table, faces lit by the glow of their phones. The tape dominates every feed. The strategy chief slams his fist down. "We go scorched earth. Question the source. Question Obama. Question the tech. Flood the zone." One advisor warns it won't hold. The cadence is perfect. The words cut too deep. But he's drowned out by shouts of loyalty, desperation clawing through the room. Plans form quickly. Smear campaigns, seeded hashtags, leaks to sympathetic reporters. The goal, make doubt louder than truth. Across town, Obama's circle convenes in a quiet townhouse. Valerie Jarrett, Susan Rice, a handful of trusted aides. The air is heavy. They know the clip that aired is only a fraction of the archive. Hours of private recordings that could detonate entire careers. Jarrett whispers, "If we drop the rest, they'll burn us to the ground. The retaliation will be savage." Obama leans forward, hands clasped, his face unreadable. They already know we have more. That's why they're panicking. The question isn't whether to use it. The question is when. Aides exchange glances. The risk is immense. Unleash the full tape and trigger a political war unlike any in modern history, or hold back and gamble that one clip is enough to break Trump. Meanwhile, in the Senate cloakroom, whispers swirl. A moderate Republican, pale and sweating, confides to a colleague, "If that tape's real, we're finished. You can't spin betrayal." The response is curt. "Keep your mouth shut, fall in line, or you'll be buried with him." Outside the chambers, the media frenzy grows teeth. Reporters stalk hallways, demanding comment from every senator, every aide. Some dodge, some snap. One junior staffer blurts out, "It's worse than what you've heard," before being yanked away by a handler. Late at night, Trump's team fields frantic calls. Donors want reassurance. Evangelical leaders demand denial. One billionaire ally snarls into the phone, "If this is true, you're radioactive. My money dries up." Trump shouts back, "It's fake! Do you hear me? Fake!" He slams the receiver so hard it cracks, yet doubt creeps closer. Lawyers whisper about subpoenas. Advisors debate whether to preemptively discredit the entire intelligence community, painting them as co-conspirators. The tone shifts from counterattack to survival. Obama's allies sit in silence, the weight of decision hanging like a guillotine. Jarrett finally speaks, barely above a whisper, "If we drop the archive, there's no going back. Not for him, not for us. It's the kill shot." The room freezes. The choice looms, escalation or restraint, and everyone knows that whichever path they choose, the nation will never be the same. Morning spills across America, and with it, the recording saturates every diner, factory floor, and living room. In Ohio, televisions flicker in truck stop cafes as drivers lean on counters, silent, eyes fixed on Obama's words looping again and again. He chose his own gain over America's security. One man mutters into his coffee, "That's not politics, that's betrayal." In Detroit, a union hall erupts during lunch break. Workers crowd around a mounted screen, the tape playing raw. When Obama's line, "They'll never find out," echoes through the speakers, someone slams a wrench on the table. A chorus rises. "We found out!" The chant spreads, swelling into thunder. "We found out! We found out!" At a VFW hall in Pennsylvania, veterans sit rigid, hands gripping canes and chairs. One grizzled Marine growls, "He laughed about us." Laughed! Heads nod. Phones are raised, recording reactions, feeding them instantly back into the viral bloodstream. Across campuses, students remix the line into protest anthems. TikTok explodes with clips overlaying Obama's voice onto images of Trump's rallies. One video, spliced with the caption, "You paid in, you earned it, it's your money," hits 10 million views in an hour. Cable news tries to control the wave, but the streets have taken ownership. At a rally in Milwaukee, retirees flood a town hall meant to be a routine campaign stop. Instead, the crowd drowns out the speaker, chanting, "Play the tape, play the tape." Their demand is clear. No punditry, no spin, just the raw recording. Fox News attempts to smother the blaze, parading experts who insist the audio is a forgery. But their graphics are clipped and reposted as memes. Fox in panic mode. The more they deny, the louder the chant grows. Even radio stations, country music in Tennessee, talk shows in Arizona, Spanish-language programs in Texas, break programming to air the tape on repeat. Callers choke back fury. One woman's voice cracks live on air. "I trusted him, and he laughed at us? Never again." By dusk, protests flare in multiple cities. Handmade signs carry the same phrase, "They'll never find out." But now it's not a taunt. It's a rallying cry, turned inside out, hurled back at Trump like a spear. The anger crystallizes into momentum. Politicians can feel it. Staffers draft bills overnight. Campaign managers tear up schedules. The public has shifted. No longer passive watchers, but an army chanting in unison. And at the center of it all, that single recording plays on loop, louder with each passing hour, echoing not just through television sets, but through the bloodstream of the nation itself. By morning, the Capitol is a fortress of flashing cameras and echoing questions. Congress is forced into an emergency session, every hallway buzzing with the weight of history. The committee chamber overflows, reporters pressed shoulder to shoulder, phones raised, lenses fixed. The gavel strikes. A Democrat brandishes a thick folder. "We have the transcripts," she announces, her voice steady but sharp enough to slice through the roar. Papers slap onto the desk, microphones crackle. The room leans forward. The words leap off the page. They'll never find out. Gasps ripple through the chamber. The evidence is no longer a rumor or a clip. It is written, authenticated, undeniable. Trump's allies scramble. Jim Jordan bellows, "This is political theater, a disgrace!" But his voice is drowned out by chants from protesters outside the building. Through the marble walls it carries, "Play the tape! Play the tape!" Networks broadcast split screens, one side showing the congressional hearing, the other replaying Fox anchors stumbling over their own defenses. Advertisers begin to cut ties. A leaked memo circulates. Major sponsors are suspending placements pending review. Fox News reels its empire bleeding revenue in real time. Trump appears defiant, storming into the spotlight once again. He grips the podium, fists white, voice cracking with rage. "This is an ambush, a coup against the people!" But even as he shouts, a hush spreads across the nation. The words feel hollow against the hammer of the recording. Behind closed doors, Republicans fracture. Some huddle in private offices, faces ashen. A senator mutters, "We can't carry him through this. He'll drag us all down." Whispers turn to phone calls to leaks. The wall of loyalty begins to splinter. Meanwhile, Obama's words ripple outward, reshaped into action. Activists flood social media with a single refrain. Not politics, survival. Petitions surge, rallies swell, voters flood congressional hotlines. The tape has transformed outrage into a weapon. By the week's end, the hammer falls. Subpoenas are issued, hearings expand, and impeachment whispers become full-throated calls. Fox executives face resignations, their brand scarred. Trump, isolated and cornered, stares down a reality he cannot shout away. The final image is seared into memory, the recording playing one more time on the House floor, Obama's voice echoing above the chaos. History won't forgive him, but the people can still choose to. The chamber sits frozen, and the nation, breathless, waits for what comes next.